And we've had graduates recently that have really just made my heart explode to see them come in, unable to make eye contact, so just devastated by guilt and what they've done to their families, and to watch the light come back in their eyes after
Mhm.
just a couple of months of working, of doing something with purpose, being in a creative, inspiring environment. That's just such a gift to be able to see that. And then to watch them go on and get jobs in human resources and at the post office. I mean, we've had some really great success stories lately.
Hey, sober stars and pop culture lovers. Welcome back to the Sober Curator, where sobriety meets style, substance, and a little sparkle. I'm your host, Elise Bryson, here to dish up another inspiring conversation that's as fun as it is fulfilling. Yes, you're going to want to get your fingers ready because we are going to add to cart today. Today's guest is someone who knows how to turn her PR skills into pure gold for the recovery community. You're going to want to grab your favorite mocktail and settle in. I would like to welcome Mary Fuller to the show. She is a seasoned writer turned communications queen, and Mary now serves as the public relations and community awareness supervisor for Her Second Chance, which is located in sunny Boca Raton, Florida. Welcome to the show, Mary.
Hi, Elise. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here talking
Well,
about my favorite subject, her second
I know.
chance.
And I feel like there's so many things we could talk about because I
Oh,
know you spent a lot of time in newspaper.
yeah, I
I
did.
also got my start in newspapers
You
way back in the
did.
day. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was back when they still were like putting the ads on wax paper. Like,
Apps and there was a
yeah.
printing
Mm-hmm.
everything. It was
Mm-hmm.
unbelievable. Before social
Mm-hmm.
media, I was a
Be-
staff travel writer for Gannett newspapers, and it was
I also
unbelievable.
worked for
You
Gannett.
did. I feel like
Yes.
everybody worked for Gannett at some
Everybody
point.
worked for Gannett at some point. Yes, yes. So great. So great. Well, at Her Second Chance, Mary is not just telling stories, she's telling life-changing ones. And a fun fact, she might be one of the only people who can put a spin on a press release that gives you actual goosebumps. So, Mary, we're super excited for you to be here today and to get
Great.
into it. And yes, at the end of this episode, everyone's going to want to go to Her Second Chance site and start shopping. Unless you want to go there right now and shop while you listen, we're fine with that too.
Yes, that's her
Um,
secondchance.org. We're ready for you.
we're ready. So, Mary, what's a pivotal moment that happened to you that changed how you move throughout the world, and how did you end up at Her Second Chance?
Well, a pivotal moment that changed how I view the world. I think for me, and I'm sure that many of us have experienced this, I was at a place in my career where I had been doing copywriting, marketing writing, all kinds of different professional writing for companies, for profit companies. And although I would change it up at some point in my career, I felt like I wanted to do something more. I wanted to use my talents and skills at an organization that was actually helping people,
Mm-hmm.
hands-on helping people, so that you can actually witness the work you're doing. And I thought, if I'm writing from that place where I'm getting to experience these miracles every day, it's just inspiring. So I think the pivotal moment was just deciding for myself that I wanted to work for a company that was doing good and
Mm-hmm.
sort of put my energy there. And it just so happened I had been putting that out into the universe. And sure enough, I think it was my sister who had told me. I was new to Florida. I had just moved to Delray Beach, about this organization called Her Second Chance. And I went online and checked it out, sent them an email telling them all about my skills, and I got a job there. And I've been there for 2 years now, and it has been everything that I hoped for. So Her Second Chance, it's actually a nonprofit social enterprise,
Mm-hmm.
and we provide transitional employment and support programs for women in recovery from substance use. So really we were founded, our founder, Keely Copeland, found herself newly sober. She had made the courageous decision to get sober, seek treatment, but when she was done with all that, was really unable to find a job for whatever reasons. It was very hard who wanted to hire her with her background, etc.
Mhm.
So she decided to start an organization that does just that. It helps women who are newly sober, some of them coming from sober living, some of them in early sobriety, some of them with longer term sobriety, but all with the same problem. I need a job.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that's what we do. And we do that through our social enterprise. And our social enterprise consists of our e commerce shops. So we have a shop on Etsy and we have our own website shop, and we sell funny, personalized gift items, mugs, tumblers, greeting cards, candles, and lots of other wonderful things. And all of our products are handcrafted by women in recovery. So the women who come to us seeking employment make the products. So we like to always say it's purchase with a purpose. What you can buy from us and actually help a woman who's really trying to rebuild her life by learning some new skills, getting some job experience under her belt so that she can go out into the world and get community employment.
I love that so much. I love that
Yes.
so much. With my background in media, I've been in media for 25 years and counting. And so I used to do a lot of events. I still do events now, but they're very small scale. But I used to do really large consumer events. And we would always involve a nonprofit partner or multiple partners in every event because I like to party with a purpose.
Yes.
So
I
we
love
have
that.
similar phrases for sure. And we have an organization not exactly like Her Second Chance, but it's similar here in Seattle. It's called Fair Start, and it gives people real life skills inside of a restaurant, whether
Mm.
it's from the service side or from, back in the kitchen, and helps people get on their feet and then go and get jobs in other places. So it's similar in nature, but I just love what Her Second Chance is doing.
Yes.
And yes, the merchandise, there is some really fun, playful items on the site.
Yes, and you can personalize them, which is really fun. So we have things like cat mom or dog mom, and you can personalize the hair and the clothing and what drink they might have in their hand, a Starbucks or a water. And you can put your pet, exactly what type of cat do you have. So it really, we give gifts that really add a personal touch, and people just love them. They really
Mhm.
do. So that's one part of our social enterprise. We also do business to business. So we do higher volume orders for companies for logo mugs, logo tumblers, any kind of items that you might use at a conference or for some special event or employee incentives. We provide that. And then the third part is our fulfillment services. So this is really cool. We recently started working with a company called State of Gratitude. I don't know if you've heard of them, but it was actually started by an entrepreneur in recovery. And we are now producing their gratitude intention wrap bracelets. And these are beautifully beaded bracelets, just gorgeous to look at. And our women are making them. So it's really a beautiful kind of creative thing to watch and see. And we are fulfilling. So we like to also tell companies that we do offer those fulfillment services.
And
And once again,
what was the name of
it
the
was called
bracelet again?
State of Gratitude.
State
It's
of
a
Gratitude. Okay, we're gonna have to
jewelry and
check that out.
apparel company, and we are making their gratitude intention wrap bracelets for them.
I love that. We will make
Yes.
sure to include a link to that in the show notes as well. That's so
Yes.
fun.
That's great.
One of the reasons I started this Sober Curator, there's a lot of reasons. As a woman in long-term recovery, I had and as I was watching this explosion happen
Yes.
online in all the spaces, whether it was online commerce or it was social media or podcasts or books, I couldn't find a hub that really catered on people that had chosen this as a lifestyle and were in it for the long haul.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of places where you can go and you can find, glossy magazines or websites where they're really catered to people in early recovery, how to get sober, which is great if those had existed back in 2006, I probably would have used them, but I couldn't. I wanted to find something that spoke to me, a woman in long-term recovery. And
Yes.
and I have been around long enough that, when I first got sober, the merchandise, it was very limited
Mhm.
and it was very ugly. Like,
Exactly.
I'm just going to say it was very, very
Yes.
ugly. Right.
Yes.
And so I'm so relieved to see that there are so many makers, coming out of the woodwork with all kinds of
Yes.
things, whether it's jewelry, whether it's craft projects or art or apparel or any other accessory. Like, I just get really excited because I always want to support my community. And if I can support by shopping, like, sign me up.
Exactly. And that's what we're hoping that everyone does. So, I wanted to talk a little bit about, in addition to our social enterprise, so when our women come to us, we also offer support programs. So,
Mm-hmm.
we all know an important part of a good foundation in recovery is your well-being, your self-care. So while they're with us for this year, they partake in wellness workshops, and that could be anything from, we've done equine therapy for recovery. We have done workshops on financial literacy. We have done workshops on art therapy. So it's just a matter of sort of helping them to kind of strike that balance and continue to, work on their well-being while in recovery and while being employed, creating that work-life balance, which in early recovery, can be a little bit tough. So we do that. And then towards the end of the year that they're with us, we provide career mentorship. And this is really important. So we're preparing them to go out, to the next step, which is community employment, finding their
Mm-hmm.
next job.
Mm-hmm.
So each woman sits down individually with a recruiting specialist who goes over their resume, who practices interviewing with them, all as a means to make sure that they are well prepared. And we've had graduates recently that have really just made my heart explode to see them come in, unable to make eye contact, so just devastated by guilt and what they've done to their families, and to watch the light come back in their eyes after
Mm-hmm.
just a couple of months of working, of doing something with purpose, being in a creative, inspiring environment. That's just such a gift to be able to see that. And then to watch them go on and get jobs in human resources and at the post office. I mean, we've had some really great success stories lately. And, every person that makes a purchase of our products is contributing to that. They
Did
really
I
are.
read? Did I read that's like contributing? It equals like 22 minutes.
22 minutes. So every
Mm-hmm.
purchase is 22 minutes of paid employment for a woman in recovery,
Oh,
just trying to rebuild her life, have a fresh start, and become the woman she was meant to be. So yeah, so that's what our products do, and those are our programs. And I think, I started to talk a little bit about this transformation that takes place, and I think a huge part of that is what we like to call a recovery friendly work environment. And that doesn't
mm-hmm.
mean that we're sitting around and having meetings all day long. We are a business and we run a business, but we do integrate things like morning recovery readings and meditation. So before the work day, we do a recovery reading, and not geared toward any particular recovery program. We're very open to anyone's path to recovery. And we do a 5-minute meditation. So that's how we start the workday. And there's there's the career mentorship, but then there's also the organic mentorship that goes on between the women, just sharing resources. I overheard 2 of our participants talking today about, oh, did you hear about that app that you could just download it and see where all the meetings are? And, things like that. Women helping other women in sobriety it's really amazing.
This idea is coming up that I'm just going to put out there,
Okay.
and I think we could figure it out together. So, Alexandra Nyman, who is the publisher of the site, she's been working with me on the site for over a year now. So, she lives in New York, and she is the founder of the Break Free Foundation,
Okay.
which puts together 2 fashion shows a year during New York Fashion Week. And what's unique about this show, Alex is also a clothing designer, is that everyone in this show is in recovery from something. Many of them are in recovery from substance use disorders, mental health. There is also some eating disorders, and there could be other mental health things.
Right.
But whether they're walking in the show or they're one of the designers, everyone that touches the show is in recovery. And we do the show virtually, so you can watch it live. It would be so fun if we like organized a live viewing with your gals.
Oh, we would
And
love
I don't
that.
know if there's a world in which, a sponsorship could be figured out and sends one of them to walk in the show, but I think that would be so cool.
That would be, you are an amazing resource.
Yes, I am the queen of pop culture, and I'm trying to become the Kevin Bacon of recovery. One day, one podcast episode at a time.
Absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely.
speaking of pop culture, how does that influence how the gals come up with designs for items on the site?
Well, we actually have a designer that works on the designs, but the
Mhm.
women have a lot of input. And because a lot of them are younger and very connected on TikTok or social media, they might say, "Oh, we saw this design. This is really cool. We feel like it's trending now." So they're always giving us very creative ideas. And then once the designer actually creates the work, the women, and it all depends, we kind of evaluate skill sets when people first come in. And
Mhm.
some people are more comfortable on computers. Other people would rather just stick to shipping and packing.
Mhm.
But many of our women learn Photoshop and they learn how to make the transfer that has the design on it that is then burned into the mug or the tote bag or all of our other products. So they're always kind of keeping us in the loop on what's new and fresh. And they're a major creative part of what we do.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that so much.
Yes.
Where did you move? Have you always lived in Florida?
No, I'm actually a New Yorker by birth, New York City gal.
Ah.
Yes. And then I lived in a number of different places. I was in Toronto, Canada for many years, Newton, Massachusetts, just outside of Boston. I was in South Carolina. And then I ended up in Delray Beach, which I had known about because I had come here for years and years. But my sister lives here. And I think that was another kind of pivotal moment of I want to live somewhere where it's warm all of the time.
Mhm. Yeah, that sounds nice, says the girl from rainy Seattle. That
I
sounds very
know.
nice.
I know. The sun is wonderful.
I have to ask, just
Mhm.
because you've been in the business forever, like I
Yeah.
have you ever had like a PR pitch go rogue or some last minute miracle or some crazy story that you can share with the audience?
A pitch go rogue. I wish I could talk about that. I don't really have anything offhand. The other one was, pardon me, miracle
Just
moments.
some kind of miracle moment that happened that was
Yeah,
work
I would
related.
say I had one recently. We had been doing some PR planning and I had made it uh I had really wanted to get TV coverage. We hadn't had that yet.
Mhm.
And I came up with all these ideas. How are we going to get this guy, this anchorman that we wanted from a local TV station? So I actually went online. I researched him. I found out there were pictures from his wedding. So all of this is very public. There were pictures from his wedding. There was a picture of his dog. So we created this mug for him that was really
Clever.
personal, what he looked like, what his dog looked like, the names, and I hand delivered it to the TV station in a PR move. When I say, here I am driving like
Mhm.
35 miles, I'm like,
Mhm.
this is PR
I'm
to
just
drop this
swinging
off.
by. I just
Exactly.
happened to be in the
I happened to be
neighborhood.
in the neighborhood and I dropped it off, not knowing if we were going to hear anything. And
Yeah,
literally the next day, he sent an email saying, "Thank you for my beautiful mug. I love it. Let's do the segment." So that was a
that's
real
amazing.
sort of miracle moment and just one of those highs in PR for sure.
Yeah, I can tell you I've also worked at a TV station for a little over 6 years,
Yeah.
and when people show up and they've got a clever way to introduce themselves that doesn't come
Yes.
across as pushy, and they
Yes.
basically have the story all figured out,
Yes.
TV people love that because 'cause you've
I
just made their
know.
job so much easier.
Absolutely. And I remember from being a newspaper reporter when I would get press release, I always loved the ones that created the story for me already.
Mhm,
Those were
mhm,
always the easiest ones to write and kind of create. So, yeah,
mhm.
yeah, so that was a great sort of miracle moment. And we had a 4 a.m. shoot and everyone showed up and the women, spoke about their experience And it turned out to be a really great segment. So I was happy with that.
Well, and you've been there a couple of years, so I'm
Yes.
sure you've seen a couple cycles of groups of gals come through
Yes,
now.
I have.
Do any of the graduates or whatever you call them, do they come back and do service, mentor? Like, what does that look like?
Well, so they do come back. As a matter of fact, we just had a woman come in, really kind of drop by more casually, but we do check in with them after certain time periods to see how they're
Mhm.
doing in their job. And we absolutely keep in touch. It's not quite as structured as, say, like an alumni treatment center does when
Mhm.
they check up on you, for years to come to see
Right.
how you're doing. But yes, we absolutely keep in touch. They do stop by. They're more than willing to come back to share their stories. If we don't, we like to capture everybody's stories on video and written stories. And so if for whatever reason we didn't get them, they're happy to come back. And actually, talking about the stories, this was something. So, as part of my PR duties, I'm also the storyteller because
Mhm.
as a nonprofit, our stories are very, very important. The women's stories, it's important to make an emotional connection with our supporters and to just really show how well they're doing, but also talk about the struggles that they had, and it was real. So I always feel honored when I sit down with a woman. Some women like to write their own stories, and those are great, and some just don't want to. So I
Mhm.
sit down and interview them and I write up the story, and I always show it to them first to make sure they're comfortable with everything that I've written. And I can't tell you how many times they've looked at me and been like, wow, I've never read my story like this. I've never known my story to be like this. Because it makes sense when you might share in meetings your story, you might talk
Mhm.
to other people, but when you see it actually in writing and you see your journey, from very serious struggles to where you are today, they're always, and I consider that, one of the best parts of my job.
Well, just to let you know, if any of those ladies would ever like to share their story even a little bit more publicly, we have
Yes.
a section of the site called Speak Out, Speak Loud. And we allowed outside contributors to either submit, the how they got sober story, or maybe they have an opinion on something, or maybe they wrote a poem or an essay. So that's always open.
Okay, that sounds great. I'll certainly share it with our women and let them know.
Well, we've covered a lot of ground today. Are there any
Yes.
other things coming up for her second chance that we should know about?
Well, we are actively looking for new fulfillment partners. We are working on a big event in August. We Boca Festival Days, and that's like a really great opportunity for the community to come together. We've done it 3 years now. We open our doors, and people come in and actually see how we create products and learn about the program and meet the women. So we're gearing up for that. And what else do we have coming up that's exciting that I can talk about? We have an open house in February. So we have some exciting events that we're working on, and we're really just very excited about focusing on our B2B business, growing our e-commerce sites, getting the word out there, just awareness that a place like this exists. And obviously we're in Florida. We do get women from across the country because I don't know if you know, but Delray Beach, I would say Palm Beach County in general is a very big recovery hub, kind of similar to California. So we get
Mhm.
a lot of people from all over the country who come and they go to treatment and then they live in sober livings and they come and work for us. So, we're always just really trying to get the word out about our products and about our programs and what we do
I
so
love
that
that.
maybe more women can hear about us and come, or people can just know about our products and buy them for this really, really amazing cause and know that that purchase is really helping a woman.
Really helping 22 minutes. That's I love the visual of that stack. That
Yes.
stat. I definitely globbed onto that when I was reading through the site for
Yes.
sure.
And we feel like that's something that people can manage and
Mhm.
understand and
Mhm.
see the direct relation between their purchase and helping a woman get back on her feet.
Absolutely. Well, as we start to wind down here, I like to move into what we call a sober shots segment. It's just a little rapid fire fun, Mary. No overthinking. Just
Okay.
go with your gut. I'm going to ask you some quick questions and you can just give me your answer or you can say pass. It'll be an
Okay.
easy little game. What is your sober drink of choice? Are you going to drink Diet Coke or a mocktail with a twist?
I have two sober drinks of Coke Zero is one of my favorites, and then
Uh-huh.
I like to do a cranberry soda with lime.
That's good.
Yeah.
I like the Coke Zero vanilla. I do
Oh,
like the Coke Zero
you do? I
vanilla.
haven't tried that yet.
It's good. It's good. The orange I wanted to like. It kind of tastes like an orange cream,
Yeah.
but it just didn't
Too
hit.
chemically. I just tried it.
Yeah,
Too
it's
chemical.
too.
Yeah.
It doesn't quite hit. The cherry is it's strong. I actually like to cut the cherry with the vanilla,
Yes.
and like split them,
Oh,
split the difference there.
yeah.
That can be really good.
That sounds like
Are
a good
you
mixture.
when you have your Coke Zero, are you pouring it over ice?
No, unfortunately, I'm straight out of the
Just
bottle,
you're just
girl.
hitting it straight. You're
Yeah,
just hitting
with a
it straight.
straw. I would add with a
Okay.
straw. I'm a big
hmm
straw girl. Need that straw.
So I am also a straw girl, and I used to be an aluminum straw girl, and then I got turned on to glass straws, and now I'm
Wow.
obsessed with glass straws.
That, and you're not worried you're going to
Highly
accidentally chew on it?
No, no.
Okay.
And what I love about a glass straw, first of all, you can see the inside of them. So you can tell if they're clean or not.
Yeah.
And you can get them on Amazon. They come in all different kinds of colors. Sometimes they have little shapes on them. They come with a little like pipe cleaner, but there's something very satisfying out of drinking out of a glass straw. And I can tell you, I've never, knock on wood, broken one yet.
Fantastic.
So highly recommend
Okay, I'll
sipping
have
with
to
a
give it a
glass
try.
straw. Highly recommend. What is your superpower? Are you up at dawn, ready to rule the world, or are you a night owl like me?
I am definitely not up at dawn. I would say I'm a night owl like you. I seem to get some creative energy after 10 o'clock for some reason,
Mm-hmm.
often to my detriment. I'll be on my laptop writing, catching up on a press release or writing something for the newsletter. So I would say, yes, I'm a night owl. I think one of my superpowers is empathy. I always feel like I'm a person who easily connects with other people and is able to share and just get right in there with them. I'm a very
Mm-hmm.
connected
Mm-hmm.
person, and I think that that's one of my superpowers.
Yeah, that sounds based off of the length of time I've known you now. That sounds like it tracks. What's your music mood? Are you more Marcus Mumford solo magic or Hollywood soundtrack vibes? Like what's your music
I
mood like?
my music is, I would say, more Hollywood vibes, but I kind of like, I'm all over the place. I love a good Eminem.
Mm.
I can go from Eminem to Coldplay. We were just
Uh-huh.
we have a Thursday lunch at the office where we all get together and we do some sort of a conversation starter. And today it was, what was your first concert and your best concert? So it took off on, what's your favorite type of music? I'm a 10,000 Maniacs girl, general
Okay.
public. So I
Mm-hmm.
think I geared towards that 80s alternative kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. And what was your first concert?
So my first concert was the Beastie Boys in Manhattan when they were first coming
Oh,
up.
you're badass.
I'm sorry, but they were
That is
sort of
so much
our,
cooler than mine. I'm like, I
I
don't even want to say mine now.
it
That's
was very small, but they were literally just coming up, and so it was the Beastie Boys for sure.
ugh,
What was your first concert?
mine was Amy Grant.
Oh, yeah, but that's a
I mean,
good
I should say mine
one.
was Amy Grant.
That was a good one.
But not as good as Beastie Boys. Man, I'm jealous about that.
It was
All right, my
awesome.
last question. You're
Okay.
having a snack attack. What are you going for?
Oh, I'm a chip girl. I wish I wasn't. I'm
Mm,
not a big I mean, I do love chocolate, but at night when that chip, I need some popcorn, I need some tortilla chips, I need a
mm-hmm.
crunchy
You need
something.
a crunch.
I
Yeah,
need
I
a
get it.
crunch.
I get it. I get it. I'm also not a chocolate girl, but like I won't turn down a gummy bear or a
Yeah,
jelly belly or a
you like
Swedish fish.
those. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. My dad's like that.
Yeah. Won't turn it down. Well, Mary, where can everyone find her second chance and all the places?
Yes, well, everyone can go to hersecondchance.org, and that's really where you can find everything. Our products, you can shop our products there. You can find out about our programs. You can sign up for our newsletter. You can reach out via email if you want to get involved in any way, volunteer, or just if anything I said today spoke to you and you'd like to say hi, hersecondchance.org.
I love that. Thank you so much.
Thank
Um,
you.
and now we're going to end. Tamar loves it when I do my tchotchke of the week.
Okay.
As you can tell, I'm a little bit of a tchotchke hoarder.
I can see that in the background.
But it's not hoarding if your stuff is cool.
Yes,
So,
very
and
true.
I never pre-plan this. I just grab. And so I think today I'm going to grab this trucker hat that I recently made. I was at the Northwest Event Show here in Seattle, Washington. And this is a mobile apparel booth that you can bring on site for any size of party. And they had this trucker hat bar where you could get all these different patches and buttons.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
And you could decorate it
it
on the spot. It was very popular.
I bet.
Very popular booth. And what was cool, as I was standing in line, I got to know the owners. One of the owners is over 30 years sober, which I, of course, love to hear.
Absolutely.
So, yes. So this is my bedazzled trucker hat. It's super fun. And I've got
Elise, I love it.
When I poured it
absolutely love it.
Yeah, super fun. Super fun. So that's my tchotchke of the week. And that is all the time we have. As we like to say at the Sober Curator, getting sober matters, staying sober matters more. Thanks for tuning in. This is Elise Bryson. And until next time, keep it real, keep it fun, and keep it sober.